Hi. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
And today, I'd like to welcome our beautiful Namita Maria. Namita Maria is a philosopher, a musician, an artist. And, just to say that I admire your art, I admire your music, it's just to say nothing, really. So I think I just admire that, for who you are, for the way you can just be, So welcome.
Thank you so much, Uria.
So, you know what? I don't know if, I hope many people who don't know your art, and are not familiar with your Instagram profile, you probably, but those who do, they probably would agree, because I have a couple of quotes prepared here from one of my favorite books, The Women Who Run with the Wolves. So by the poet Clarissa Pinkola Estes. So because you resemble the character of, of one of the character wild women, from these stories. So she says that go out in the woods, go out. If you don't go out in the woods, nothing will ever happen and life will never begin. I think this is really beautiful. And every time I look at your profile and look at you, this comes to my mind. And I want to take myself out straight away. So thank you for all your beautiful sharings. And another quote is, within every woman, there is a wild and natural creature, a powerful force filled with good instincts, passionate creativity, and ageless knowing. Her name is Wild Woman, but she is an endangered species. So here you are, Wild Woman. Yeah, and I just would like to share with the audience that Namita and I, we've met in the Amazon jungle during the Master Plan Dieta. Yes, and ever since I've just been feeling this deep, deep connection with you, despite that we're in different countries. You are now in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how are you, Namita?
Thank you so much, Uria. I was just swimming in the lake. It has 10 degrees. And it's getting better and better to swim in these cold lakes. And I've met two young men who just made a little fire near to this lake. So I just spent my morning with a cold lake and a fire, which was very nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And concerning your quote, I want to say something about it because Clarissa Pinkola Estes wrote this book some time ago. I don't know, maybe 20 years or something. And she said the wild woman is an endangered species. And I don't think this is true anymore. Maybe it was true 20, 30 years ago, but I feel now the wild woman is awakening. And there are many women tribes collecting and coming together, collecting their essence back to themselves And I feel that they are rising and they are getting more and more, because every wild woman will radiate her energy and it will wake up more wild women. So I just wanted to say that I don't think it's an endangered species anymore.
It's very optimistic. I like it. Yeah, and empowering. Yeah, this balance that's like the world seems to be a bit missing, right? The feminine and masculine. And I'm not talking about this balance, the discrimination of women, but in general, right? The feminine and masculine. There've been a bit of disbalance, right? And I think that brought some pain and suffering to the world, because even most women with all this industrialization and everything, right? They kind of wanted to gain power and become like men and push themselves, as hard, this like forceful kind of actions and everything. That's more masculine, right? But same with men. So we all kind of pushing ourselves so hard, and we need to awaken this, bring more of this feminine, gentle, loving energy to just ourselves, right? And radiate it.
It seems to be a collective tendency to push ourselves very hard to our limits. And I think the time has come to realize that it's not about pushing ourselves into some goal, but it is really about relaxing and letting go. Yeah.
So your way of letting go, and I think it's not, it should be just very natural for everyone else, but it seems to be like almost an effort for most people, to reconnect, because we are of this nature, right? And some people seems to be like have forgotten about it, and this connection of nature is kind of like almost like brings this disconnection from yourself, right? And you do it so effortlessly. I really admire it. It's really beautiful.
I wouldn't say I do it effortless, because it took a lot of effort to arrive at the point where I am now.
Right.
So I went through a burnout when I was 17, and I went through a lot of suffering and pulling and pushing myself to reach something, to realize, while I had some kind of breakdown, that I really need to arrive in my essence. And it was a long path for me. So it took a lot of effort in the end. But it was worth it.
It was worth it, right? You push yourself out of comfort zone, right? You just kind of like you do with cold water as well. Actually, you inspired me. Just watching you going, like, okay, summertime is all right. Summertime in Germany, I still can imagine it's a little bit chilly. But then I see you still keep doing it, It's what, November now? And so I really wanted to push this kind of push, I mean, in a nice way, in terms of like liberate myself from this fear of cold, and but I just watching you, I just only do baby steps. I started taking cold showers. So
yeah, I just saw that my mom is watching, and I want to thank her, because I started with cold showers when I was 3 years old. Because she told me that it's so good for your health to do cold showers. She always does it, and I trained my body for cold showers since my whole life. So cold showers is something that comes really easy. And therefore the step from cold showers to cold lakes is a bit easier.
Mm. So yeah, I mean, what I just want to share with the audience that, like, if you watch Namita's profile and her very genuine, authentic sharings, it's just really beautiful how, you know, you just understand that you don't need to go as far to deep in the jungle somewhere, you know, to get lost somewhere, you know, to just be yourself and reconnect with nature. You can just do it anywhere, right? It's just, yeah, your will. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you said we come from nature, which is true. And I would go a step further and say we are nature. So we are part of this Mother Earth. We come from her, and we cannot ignore that this body is a body from Earth. So we are expression of nature, and therefore if we really want to reconnect with nature, we first have to reconnect with ourselves. We have to reconnect with our hearts and with our bodies, and to really feel what is inside. And if this reconnection is back, then it's much easier to reconnect with Earth, because we understand that it is us, this whole experience. And when we get rid of this duality, that this is my body and this is the body of the Earth, and we realize that it's the same, it has the same essence, it has the same cause, and this makes this reconnection really beautiful, to don't separate between me and you anymore. Of course, we need separations at some points, we need borders. Borders are very healthy, but only to some extent.
So let me, actually, this brings us, let me just brag. I want to show to people one of the, like, proudly own one of the pieces of Namita. Look at this. I hope everyone can see.
You
And
are,
this is,
you are the only one now who really owns an original.
really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very special. Ah, that's so beautiful. But anyway, can you tell us about your ancient womb art painting with menstrual blood, why this medium? And I guess from our previous conversations, people can see why this medium, that you you are able to deeply connect and deny any part of yourself, right? And this is especially sacred part of ourselves, right? Of our femininity.
So it all started with the video of Teal Swan. She made a video some years ago about menstrual blood, and that is also very powerful to paint with it. And I was so inspired by that. I was like, I need to try this. I already had a menstrual cup, so I collected my blood with the cup and I started to paint with it. And it was pure liberation for me, because it's such a deep reconnection with my womb, and I always wanted to work with my womb on a deeper level, and I really understood that through this work with my menstrual blood, I deeply reconnect with my womb. And I'm painting since I can hold a pen. So I have, I don't know, thousands of paintings from my whole life, but I never felt as liberated while painting like I'm feeling now with the blood, because it's my own ink. It's the ink that I create myself, and I really like that feeling of painting with what comes from within, because the idea of the painting comes to my mind, like what I want to paint, the image comes from my mind, and the ink or the paint comes from my body. And I really like to connect mind and body through that. And it's just so special for me to go in these sacred rituals with my body, paint with it, to let it flow, to let the flow go through me. And I'm deeply in love with it.
Yeah, that's another thing that you inspired me to do. I mean, I don't show much of it, but the feeling of it, I really understand. It's just really, yeah, it's really intimate, right? And of course, what you express with your own ink, right, is really, really intimate, and it comes really, really from deep of the depths of your soul, from your heart. It's really nice feeling. So I can imagine that many artists are maybe joining us. I can see this sunshine today. It's so bright. It's so lovely. I can't even see the screen very well. But I just love it, enjoying every bit of sun. So yeah, many artists hopefully join us, and and I hope that some of them maybe will be inspired too. So yeah, but so back to this idea of reconnecting with your own nature, right? With your own body. You know, the idea of I am, right? Most of us, they kind of attach this idea to some sort of identity, right? And this identity often starts with the body, right? Like, I'm like this, I don't know, I'm Asian, I have brown hair or whatever, right? But if you think that that your consciousness, right, is it inside your body? Like your soul, is it just your body? It's not the height of your body. It's not inside your like boobs, breast or something, right? So it's much bigger, and the more you expand your consciousness, right, it becomes it goes out of your body, but at the same time, like water, right, it can take, if you pour it to any vessel, right, it can be vase, beautiful vase, could be just a glass, and it takes the shape of this vase or glass, but it doesn't, but it's still the same water. So this kind of brings me to the idea, it's not like we have to deny our bodies or something, but in a way, like not being attached in a way how most people are quite self-conscious, you know, instead of just self-awareness, be just being, right? And I just wanted to ask you about the being also okay with your body, because you also do, when you go out with nature, you like to be nude, and I remember both of us swimming in the Amazon River, Ucayali, nude, despite all the precautions. Right? They told us there could be snakes, whatever, some weird fish that can go inside your body. We were just so connected, experiencing this bliss, and it was just like one of my best memories.
Yeah, it was beautiful to be in the Amazon River with you naked. It was an amazing experience. And yes, I love to be naked because being naked is just like Earth made me. It's really nothing anymore that I'm ashamed of because it's nature. And the clothes are very good for warming my body, but to really reconnect with nature, I love to be naked and to feel it on my skin, to feel the leaves under my feet, and to feel the trunk of the tree under my hands. And it's a different sensual experience to be naked. And I had such a huge revelation for that when I was in the forest in Austria. And I was much younger then, and I really wanted to get naked, but I kind of was a bit shy. Maybe someone will come or something like that. But then I did. I set myself on a rock and I got naked and I meditated for 40 minutes. It was very hot and I really merged with nature, and suddenly like deers came very near to me. They were like 1 meter away. They just stood there like they didn't see me or anything because I was so still. And in this time I saw 15 deers in 1 hour just walking really near from me. And then at one point, one deer, they really didn't see me. And at one point, a deer saw me. He was really near from me and shouted like, "Rah!" He was really shocked because he didn't see me before. And then all ran away. But this was such an amazing experience to see what can happen if you really merge with nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful spirits, deers, protectors of the forest. So yeah. So I was thinking that in a way, you are free to share some of this, your experiences to social media, for example. But it goes really like it's really like you can. It's so authentic. It's not like you're showing off or something. It feels like there is this, you're present in the presence, and whenever, if I watch it a few hours later, I really I really almost experience it with you. And you don't need to do much. You just touch a leaf, right? You just admire a flower. You like inhale some scent of some flowers or something, and it's just beautiful. That's as much as you can just do, right? Be authentic. There sometimes you don't need words for it.
Yeah. Many times it's very authentic, but sometimes it's also not authentic because then I have the camera in front of me and
Right.
I'm re-experiencing with the camera what I experienced before without the camera. So it's like that. I experience something and I'm really like drawn to it, and then I feel I need to record it, and then I experience it again. So it loses a bit of authenticity with the camera, but still I try to be as much authentic as possible. But of course, with the camera, it's always something different than without.
or hear you, because I really, I can't, I mean, I do enjoy being in nature, and I do all sorts of stuff in nature that probably I wouldn't share it here. I have all sorts of naughty stuff as well, but anyway, I'm just joking. Anyway, but I feel, yeah, I don't want even to put the camera. I don't want to, like, I'm almost like egoistic in this. Like, I don't want to share it, or I'm just so present, I sometimes just forget. And then and then I think, like, oh my gosh, that probably would be beautiful, to share, because not just because it looks beautiful or something, because just it feels so beautiful, like that. So I in a way, I think that your what you do with everything, with your art, music, and everything, is in a way some sort of activism as well, because it doesn't inspire, not this like activism that forceful again, but just loving and, yeah, authentic. And I personally find it really inspiring. And keep going. Keep sharing, please.
Thank you. Yeah, the word activism has such a huge content, but actually when you go to the root of this word, it means just being active with something very special for yourself. So in this sense, you can call me an activist, because I am very active in my deep urge for empowering men and women, for empowering myself, and for lit the light inside myself. And with that, my urge is to also deeply touch the light in others. So it's a connection of essence, and maybe I'm a soft activist.
It's nice that you mentioned actually that you inspire with your activism men as well, right? Because if we talk about feminine energy, that doesn't it doesn't necessarily limit to women, right? To females, and it's just for men the true, also authentic appreciation of feminine, and also recognizing that in truth that there is feminine inside them as well, and embraced it as well. And I think it's just like when all of us, despite we're a woman, women or men, if we just find this real connection and depth and balance with it, with feminine and masculine, I guess, you connect it, but I think it's in a way like you need some like masculine, like decision, for example, to set up this camera and deal with it, and be present in front of this camera. So it's kind of, yeah, I mean, all good forces, right? All good, yeah, energies. Energies is better word.
Yeah.
So I was. Mm-hmm.
We all have a man inside, and we all have a woman inside. So even though my posts and my site is very feminine, I never want to only inspire women. And I also have many followers who are men and who appreciate me very much with what I do. And I am very grateful for the men that stand behind me, because they give me the power of fire and of the warrior. And I love the man energy, same as I love the female energy. And I also love the energy that is mixed between man and female and cannot be put in words anymore. So it's not at all my aim to only inspire women.
Yeah, I can see it in your art. Yeah, it's really, really like the deep connection between the two, and that's how we come to this world. So there's nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, just talking to some other people who still find it, a little bit weird or something. Weird to be yourself. Anyway, what I also wanted to ask you about your current project, because you have PhD in philosophy, right? And so this current project, as I know, is aimed to research all the philosophies worldwide that were not westernized, right?
Exactly. I work at the University of Hildesheim, and here I really have the honor of working for an amazing professor. His name is Rolf Elberfeld, and his aim is to widen our Eurocentric perspective. So what is happening when we study philosophy, and this is also when we study philosophy in India and China and Africa and Europe, we only learn Western philosophy, which is very weird because it is outdated. So also when you study philosophy, you only learn history of philosophy, and the history of philosophy includes normally European men. So women and other cultures get marginalized, and the aim of this project is to understand that there are many histories of philosophy and not only one history of philosophy. So in every country, we search the histories of philosophy, and we find that we can find so much philosophy in China, so much philosophy in India, so much philosophy in Africa. In Africa, it's most of all oral. It's written down, it's orally, and therefore widen up the perspective of Eurocentrism. And I love this project. I love to be part of it because it's revolutionary. And yeah.
So how far? It must be massive if it's like you are doing your research like a worldwide, right? It's covering the whole world, right?
Yeah.
And it must be massive project. And how far you think?
So we are working with many different people from around the world who speak these specific languages, because of course we don't speak all the languages you need. So we need to work with many people from all the countries who speak these languages, and that project is for 5 years. So we already did 1 year, and it will go another 4 years, and probably we will get funding for another 5 years and then another 5 years. So there's a high potential that this project will stay for 10-20 years, because it's such a huge aim to understand all these histories. Yeah. And it's the only project in the whole world. So the people we are working with who understand cross-cultural philosophy, they all say that this is something revolutionary that has never been done before, and it's so important for our world right now, because we don't have to westernize the whole world. This time is over. We want to embrace all the cultures now.
Because there is so much wisdom, and actually much more than in the West. I from my experience anyway. But this is beautiful, and I guess it's going to be quite the challenge to sort of not to put your interpretation, right? Because it's a different language and everything, and it's good that you are hiring people, locals, right, who really know, kind of, who really are connected to this, rooted to this cultures and philosophies of this places, let's say,
Yeah, it's
people.
very important to work together with the locals, because otherwise we would never be able to understand also not only the language but also the content. So we really need to work with them all to understand what it's all about. It's a community.
So can you share, it's just when we were talking, but I just started thinking about, for example, tantra, right, practice. So it's not a religion, right? It's a practice. But unfortunately, there is a huge misunderstanding or misinterpretation, right, in the West, as it's only limited to mostly like erotic intelligence and sexuality. Yeah, they go to the sort of depths of that sexuality is sacred, yeah, but it's so much more than that, right? And I just wanted to know what are your practices? What's close to your heart?
So what I'm practicing every day is a specific practice of Tibetan Buddhism, and the school where I am right now is called Vajrayana, and Vajra is, or in Tibetan Dorje, is the word for unbreakable, and yana means like a car, something that drives you in one direction. So it's a vehicle that is unbreakable, and the deep practice of tantra is not at all sexual, at least not in the beginning, because we learn how to really center our mind, we learn how to strengthen our body, we learn how to embrace our inner fire and to really lit our inner fire. And this is building the fundament for sexuality. So sexuality comes sometime when you really know how to center your mind, and when you really know how to strengthen your body, and when you dissolve from this very egocentric thinking, then the practice can go into sexuality. But if you don't learn the fundamentals and only go straight into this neo-tantric ways, it can be very destructive, because then these fundamental teachings will be lost, and it will be only about sexuality, and this can lead to a lot of jealousy and anger and fear. So first we really need to understand how to work with our fears, how to work with our emotions, how to work with everything that comes up in us. And before we don't know how to deal with that, I would say maybe even dangerous to just step into these neo-tantric ways, because there's something lost there.
It's really it's really can suck you into the low vibrations. So it can, in a way, deserves you, right? And if you take the origin of the word tantra, right? Um, uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but tan is consciousness and tra is an instrument. So it's kind of an instrument to expand consciousness. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't exactly. but but the main idea, it's an instrument, a practice to expand your consciousness, but in your body, in this life, in this shape and form, right? So it's a really beautiful practice. If like anything else, right? Everything else is sacred, and if you respect it and you attempt it with consciousness, right, in a conscious way, it will just serve you beautifully, right, and really help. I was just wondering if there are any questions here, or hello sisters and lots of waving. Just trying to see if there are any questions that maybe people. I don't see any questions. I guess. Oh, I lost you for a second. Yeah.
To correct you shortly, if I may.
Oh, okay. Yes, please. Yeah.
Tantra is a Sanskrit word, and
Sorry, can you?
Tantra is a Sanskrit word.
Yes.
The Sanskrit word tantra means weaving or loom. So, what is it? It is about is that you weaving your own vehicle, let's say, to in the end expand consciousness. But just to stick with the terminology, it's a Sanskrit word that means weaving.
That's good. Always learn something from you. So I guess I don't see many questions, but or any questions. I guess people are just hopefully enjoying our conversation and learn something new. And is there anything that, because it's coming closer to the end, anything that you would like to say, any message to everyone who's watching us, to me, to yourself, to the world? I'll sit down, please.
My message would be that the time has come. The time has come that we all waited for, and it's the time where we connect with ourselves. It's the time where we open our hearts. It's the time where we expand and create and reconnect to all the living beings in all dimensions. And it's a time of waking up. So my message is to ask everyone who's watching to walk your own path. Walk your own path with your heart and look what you need and go there.
I just invite everyone who's watching to take a breath and take in this beautiful message. Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you. But we're not saying goodbye yet, right? Because we didn't really plan our conversation, how it goes, and I really actually enjoyed it, how it went. But we did agree that you will share a song with us, right? At the end.
Yeah, I just saw Lisbeth send a heart, so she's watching still, and I wanted to play a song I learned in the jungle, where also Lisbeth was there and you and jungle.
Listen, hi. Also, can I just do one not silly, but important thing? There's one artist friend of mine, Henrik, and it's his birthday today, Friday, the 13th of November. So I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. We just had a joke about it that, oh, I will do this live. Hopefully he can hear.
Bless you. Okay, so I invite all the beings who watch now to breathe in this jungle flare that comes with this song. And the jungle is where Yuri and me met. And always when I'm with Yuri, of course, the energy of the jungle comes back. Deja que tu corazón se abra y tu mente empieza a volar. Vuela, vuela como el cóndor, vuela alto sin parar. Deja que tu corazón se abra y tu mente empieza a volar. Vuela, vuela como el cóndor, vuela, vuela alto sin parar. Y volará muy alto, tú volarás como el cóndor. Oh, volará y volaré por el inmenso cielo. Yo volaré como el cóndor. Oh, volaré. Deja que tu corazón se abra y tu mente empieza a volar. Vuela, vuela como el cóndor, vuela, vuela alto sin parar. Y volará muy alto, tú volarás como el cóndor. Oh, volará y volaré al inmenso cielo. Yo volaré como el cóndor. Oh, volaré.
Mm. Thank you so much. I keep listening to your all the songs that I hope you will have more on YouTube, because some of them are like my mantras, and before I meditate or in the nature, when I do rappel or something, I just like to hear your voice and feel your energy and beautiful music you create.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your big, big heart, your love, your being present with us. I just love you so much. And I feel like you're my soul sister. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, everyone who watched us. And big love to everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye, my love.
I love you.
Yeah, I want to cry now.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to the jungle, hopefully, to Costa Rica in December. Yeah. So I said I haven't booked anything yet. All I want is just the jungle. Just drop me somewhere in the middle of the jungle and I will be happy. And bring Namita there as well. And that would be paradise. And everyone else from, yeah. Okay, one day.
Yeah, one day. Love you.
Yeah, love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.